Alrighty guys, hello and welcome to Chair League. I am your host Jason here with a Pro Division match. We are going to see the Lizard Wizards versus USC. This will be a really fun one here tonight. We are starting out strong on Towers of Doom and just about ready for the draft here. We've got everybody into lobby and ready to go right on time, 8:50 on the dot. And it's going to be exciting. Should be a pretty good match between these two teams. Both pretty mid-level teams here in the Pro Division. As far as standings go, we'll have to see how the standings shake out for the rest of the season as these two teams duke it out here. I believe this is week number, I want to say week number 5? 6? Week number 6 indeed. So let's see, where do we have these guys sitting right now? 13th for the Lizard Wizards, and it looks like for USC they are sitting at 9th. So slight advantage for USC. They have recently been placed here in Pro Division, 1-0 this season. Meanwhile, we do have the Lizard Wizards placed 1 week before, are sitting at 1-1. So both teams pretty new to the Pro Division here in Chair League, and Alarak is going to be the ban out right away from Lizard Wizards, not wanting to deal with the silence coming in from that bruiser spot. Going to go ahead and say no thank you to Alarak, and the Tal'Darim are crying. Lunara will be the respawn banned out here from USC. Interesting bans coming out here. I guess both teams electing not to ban out the two most obvious and the two most perceived to be broken heroes in the game right now, which of course is Zarya. So murky for Zarya is kind of the standard. Let me make sure USC can acknowledge that so they understand that that is Zarya. I want to make sure that these guys don't have to redraft. Murky is kind of obvious, but I yeah, just to make sure that Viridian and the boys know. Don't want anybody to be confused. But no Zarya on top drafter, so we are using Murky as the proxy for now, if you will. So Malfurion will be the response pick here for USC, which of course those are the two. Those are the two that most people are perceiving to be broken in the meta right now, Malfurion and Zarya. Zarya, those shields are very, very strong, particularly against players that don't understand how they work. The more damage that Zarya absorbs in those shields, the more her damage goes up and the more of a terror she is on that front line. Malfurion, with that new rework, able to get good, solid, sustained healing across his entire team. Definitely no burst healing potential, particularly before level 4, when he's able to pick up that talent increase. But still, definitely the most solid healer in the game right now. And Twilight Dream, such an impactful ability there. Jono that can't use heroic abilities. Ouch. Early calling out the Jono. But Vala and Thrall are going to be the pickup here for Lizard Wizards. Love those picks here on Towers of Doom. Good solid denial. Double frontline already coming out here, but not double tank so far for Lizard Wizards. They are looking at Bruiser here with Thrall. I really, really like Thrall on denial maps. With that chain heal, he's got a great ability to be able to deny those turn-ins on the altar. He can poke those out for days. You have to be able to engage him. You have to be able to dive in and engage him. Right now, Muradin on that front line can do that. We'll have to see if USC wants to build that up a little bit more. Ariel is going to be the ban out for USC, which makes a lot of sense. Apply that healer chokehold. If you've got Malfurion, being able to ban out Ariel ensures that the best 2 sustained healers in the game are kind of out of it. Brightwing is still an option for Lizard Wizards. However, Brightwing not quite as solid in terms of the AoE healing because of the proximity, right? You got to be around them in order to get those heals off. Li Ming will be the ban out here from the Lizard Wizards. Going to go ahead and try to apply that chokehold in the range DPS slot, but USC will respond with Jaina. Being able to follow up those roots from Malfurion or vice versa with Ring really sets up for some good combos. And there is no better burst damage in the game than Jaina in terms of pure DPS burst. Her cooldowns are incredibly long. Once you throw out that combo, you got a long time until you're going to get the burst damage out again. Unlike Li Ming, where those resets can instantly be giving out that burst again. But you got to kill somebody first. And at the end of the day, her damage per second is not as high as with Jaina and Kerrigan coming out. Very aggro for USC here. They're going to be looking to get in, get some kills real quick, and move on with their lives. Unlike my cat, who just will not let it go. I don't know what it is, but he's on it today. We do have the last 2 picks coming up here for Lizard Wizards. They are indeed going to go with Brightwing. The question is, how do they respond to this very aggro sort of comp that's coming out right now for USC? Right now, looking at least double, if not possibly triple frontline. They still kind of need a backline damager. I could see a Tychus if this is going to be a really melee-heavy team for Lizard Wizards. So USC doing a nice job of keeping their options open in this draft here on Towers of Doom. No real burst damage dealer for Lizard Wizards just yet, so they could see about going... it's really tough. I feel like they've been put in kind of a rough spot here, but they do have a lot of options still. They could go with another tank, but then that pretty much procs out USC. More or less instantly going with that Tychus pickup to be able to counter that double frontline Zarya plus whatever tank they pick up. And it is going to be Tyrael, so they are going to go ahead and go the way of the double tank. Plenty of frontline to be able to go up against when Kerrigan and Muradin bounce in there. Almost got to pick Tychus, I think, in this situation if you are USC, but we'll have to see what they actually decide to do. They could still go for double support if that's the route they want to go, try and get some extra sustain and some extra support for Kerrigan. They could go with an even tankier and scarier front line than they have now to be able to try and push in, but they are going to go with Azmodan, so they're going to choose the... Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is my cat. He will not let it go. I apologize. Eventually he's going to, I think, have to go in the bathroom at this point. But Azmodan is going to be the final pickup here to round out the comp for the side of USC. I don't get it. He's usually so shy when I'm casting. But should be fun to see which of these teams is going to be able to dominate. Azmodan also having good solid denial on those altars. And we'll have to see how this goes. The roots are going to be strong in the way of USC. They can really dive in here and get some solid kill potential, some solid lockdown potential. Brightwing, not a bad counter to the dive-in Kerrigan with that polymorph. Vala also able to put a lot of pressure from the backline. Tyrael, when that let's see, Link for what now? All right. So anyway, we are loading in here on Towers of Doom. Not sure what that whisper was. My mistake. All right. Towers of Doom, Lizard Wizards versus USC here in the Pro Division. We are going to see on the left, it is going to be your blue team, Lizard Wizards. Jono 306 is going to be playing Vala. Vivans is going to be playing the Tyrael. Aiton is going to be playing Thrall. Selenity will be playing Zarya. And Athrock will be on Brightwing. On the right, we have USC Tom will be playing Muradin. In terms of, we'll be playing Malfurion, Soul Reaper on Kerrigan. Apocalypse is going to be playing Jaina, and Viridian will be playing Azmodan. Yeah, and for the record, ladies and gentlemen, for any of you that weren't around, that is not Murky. It is indeed Zarya. Can't stress that enough for these two teams that we don't have Murky in Top Drafter, or I should say we don't have Zarya on Top Drafter just yet. We also don't have the new maps, so they're working on getting that updated. Should be updated soon, but for now we just got to do the proxy thing. I won't do it again. I promise. It's that was a one-time thing, a horrible mistake that I hope to never repeat. But it looks like both teams are gonna go ahead and march their way on into the mid here. That globe coming out there from Azmodan will get the dunk on a few members to at least reveal the positioning. But here they come to the mid. I'm gonna get in there and start working on that mid lane. Then they are gonna be able to clear it pretty easily. It does look like we're gonna have double clear here. Neither team struggling too hard to go ahead and clear this up. Azmodan, with that strong rotation to the bottom, is going to get started on this bottom wave a little quicker. The orb's going to come out, going to smack Athrock. But again, trying to reveal those positions and see those rotations. Soul Reaper and Tom looking for the rotation here, seeing if they can catch anybody out, waiting for that dive in. And it does look like they're going to go ahead and go on Jono. The combo is going to go ahead and miss, though, however, as Soul Reaper not able to catch Jono, and it is going to pay for it. The nice turn here from the side of the Lizards Wizards are going to get actually Malfurion as well. A 2-for-0 to start this off, and first blood going over to the Lizard Wizards. Meanwhile, in the top lane, two solo, we're going to see Thrall versus Jaina. That is going to eventually go over into Aiton's advantage here. Better wave clear from Jaina in the quick sense of being able to clear the wave, but eventually Thrall just wins that because he doesn't have the skill shot abilities that are easily dodged like Jaina does. You know, hard to hit those blizzards on a hero that sees him coming. However, Soul Reaper is going to go ahead and get in here, is going to try and get the cutoff here, and the combo is going to hit. Apocalypse is going to be able to help finish that off. Very nice combo by Soul Reaper, chasing him up into the corner and then being able to be patient enough to wait for that obvious move. Thrall had to try and make a beeline for that fort, and Soul Reaper got him. So a nice response there from USC, being able to get that kill after the rough start there on that first rotation. And we are going to see both teams going ahead and prioritizing getting their top altars to start this off. It is going to start off even, but here come the rotations. Slight rotational advantage here from the Lizard Wizards as they do start to push them off. In terms of, is actually going to go down there in the bottom lane as they isolate and immediately take out Malfurion to start this off. And all of a sudden, USC is going to find themselves having to back out of this. The globe is not in time to deny Arthrock of that. And now all of a sudden, about a half-level lead and a 4-shot advantage going over to the Lizard Wizards to start this off. But here come the rotations. Again, they're looking for Soul Reaper. They're going to try and catch him out a little bit here. Jono, a little bit low on health, not going to be able to get too aggressive in there on that Kerrigan. Don't want to give Kerrigan the chance to turn around on you there. But nice rotation there from USC. Apocalypse getting that pressure out with the help of Azmodan and a little bit of that extra demon army coming out in that top lane. Getting some nice pressure out right now. We will see Thrall going ahead and rotating up here. Aiton is going to start to clear this and keep that XP, but nice response from USC, being able to get a little bit of that soak to be able to catch up, and both of these teams are near even again on the XP. Tom maybe trying to set up for a little bit of a gank here, as yet again, Aiton going out a little bit far, but was able to pressure Apocalypse enough to maybe force Apocalypse to back off far enough. The stun is going to come out, and Aiton turning around, going after Apocalypse, but here comes the full force of the Lizard Wizards out rotating at this moment against USC. Tom also in a ton of trouble here, will not be able to make it out. That Dwarf Toss just a little bit outside from being able to save him. And again, a winning situation up in that top lane for the Lizard Wizards. We do see a nice pickup there by USC, as they will be able to have this camp pushing a little bit. Should give them at least a vision advantage, as this is going to be pushed out with these pumpkin sappers. The question is, are we going to see the Lizard Wizards prioritizing trying to stop this? It does look like they're going to go ahead and rotate town in time to be able to clear these sappers before they get to the wall. However, Thrall and Vala not here. It does look like we've got 5 members of USC here ready to go and to start fighting on this. Nobody starting the cast, though. It does look like they're going to prioritize trying to push them out. Viridian's going to start the cast. Will they get a deny? Doesn't look like it. They are going to go ahead and be able to get that cast. Nice zoning coming out from USC. However, the Lizard Wizards do collapse in here, and Tom is going to be so low. He will eventually go down in terms of also incredibly low. However, Vyvanse maybe getting a little bit too far in there. Will end up dying, but is going to take down Kerrigan in the process. So that is going to end up being a 2 for 2. But we do see USC at least capturing that altar and tying it up. Tie game here on Towers of Doom early. Both teams starting to rotate on out to lane. Going to continue to get that XP soak on. A bit of an advantage here for the Lizard Wizards. They did do a nice job of soaking in those 2 lanes, pressuring a little bit. They did end up losing ultimately they did end up losing that bottom altar, but they got a little bit of an XP advantage here, which could end up being a big deal. One of the biggest things you can do is get that XP advantage rolling, and the nice juke of the combo there by Jono. Soul Reaper thought he had something over the wall there, but Jono with a nice dodge be able to get himself out of that situation. Level 10s have been picked up here, so we do see Strafe coming out from Jono there. No big surprise that we see Sanctification, Sundering. It is going to be Expulsion Zone. So we're gonna see people going ahead and pushing them out from those affected areas. I imagine that is a play at boss, but also can serve as a nice denial in some of those chokeholds when you're trying to zone out for your team. So a couple of good things there, and also the zoning coming in from Emerald Wind. Level 10s have been picked up here by USC. A couple holding here at this point, but we do see Avatar and Twilight Dream. No surprise there. Blackpool as well as Ring and Maelstrom. So no big shockers. I couldn't imagine that we would see an Ultralisk here from Soul Reaper. I think he was just tied up in something else. But we do see the team fight coming in here. Soul Reaper taking a ton of damage, and a very nice Sun Ring coming in there. We will see a nice ring in response, though. And we do see Vyvanse a little bit late on that Sanctification, not able to save Brightwing, but will be able to at least get out to be able to zone. And they are going super aggro mode here. They go 2 for 2, but they're still staying on that far side. It does look like all of a sudden that USC has turned this. They're looking for the chase and looking to return a little bit of this aggression. Selenity going to make it out by the skin of her teeth. Vyvanse is going to pay for staying in here too long. Going to go down to Apocalypse. Viridian even gets that cast off before the explosion. So very nice play. And the dunk is going to take down Thrall. Viridian hitting that Blackpool, getting the dunk up in the top, and all of a sudden USC has turned this in their favor in a big way. And look at the aggression coming out here. A very nice Emerald Wind there from Athrok to be able to get a couple of those low members out of harm's way. But USC coming out with the plays here, making some very nice moves. They go ahead and rotate in to this to steal this camp. Vyvanse will be able to scout it out, but a little bit too late. No holy ground until 16, so no hope of trying to get a cheeky steal on that, and that will go right into the wall. And we do see the 3-man rotation response here, though. Lizard Wizards doing a nice job making sure there's not too much from this big wave in the bottom lane. But soak advantage all of a sudden coming over here to USC, and with the slight kill advantage they've had in the last couple minutes, they are caught up on XP. So yet again, we're fairly even on the XP, but an 8-shot advantage for now for USC with some of those big plays, patient plays coming out there. We'll go ahead and see USC rotating back to pick up these sappers, getting a little bit of extra map pressure in that bottom lane, but the 3-man rotation is here from the side of Lizard Wizards to be able to answer that. Oh, look at this aggression coming out here. USC, yet again, 4-man rotation with that Kerrigan and the Malf root combo, looking to get them some picks, especially as they knew the altars were soon to come, and down here in the bottom lane, they have these sappers that they'd really like to be able to push in. Level 13s here for both teams, so no big advantage here. I don't think they want to be too aggressive, and you actually see it. They're not going to push in to those structures. We do see that the Lizard Wizards are split up right now. They do go ahead and collapse, but there's no protection for Athrok and Jono in this top lane, or in the top part of this fight, so that's where they focus a lot of this early aggression. But oh, Soul Reaper leaves the game. The Kerrigan bot getting a little aggro, and that is unfortunate. That's the kind of thing you hate to see. Soul Reaper DCing. Soul Reaper will be back in the game, but it looks like he might have dropped connection there. And what a difference that Kerrigan could have made in that team fight. Kind of a turning moment in the match there. As yet again, it felt like there were a couple members of the Lizard Wizards that were isolated in the top lane. But I'll have bot Kerrigan, not quite as good at taking advantage of those kind of situations. But big victory for the Lizard Wizards there. They do get both of those casts off. That's going to result in a good solid bit of that catch-up there. All of a sudden, only 4 shots down at this point in the match. Can I show the talent picks from time to... Yeah, those are always up in the top. I actually run the UI that's up in the top here. I'm notoriously bad for showing it at the bottom. So I actually just go with the UI that's constantly got it on display. But well, like I said, complete catch up here for the side of the Lizard Wizards. Tom also going to be caught out a little bit in a rotation. He will be able to dwarf toss out, though, as a little bit of that extra soak in the bottom lane picked up before that retreat. And both teams pretty it's pretty even game at this point, I'll tell you. A little bit of a kill advantage so far for the Lizard Wizards, but XP's about even. Score on the cores are both even. And really, really fun game to watch so far from these two teams. We will see Tom getting in a little bit far, trying to see what he could find out in those bushes, but ultimately we'll have to back out. Camp picked up here for the side of Lizard Wizards, but we got the 4-man response here in bottom, so those will probably be cleaned up in pretty short order here by USC. Tunnels are opening here in the mid lane from each side. Rotation coming in here from the Lizard Wizards, maybe looking to catch somebody out a little bit. Again, it's only Tom out in the front there, but here they come. They are going deep on this. Tom is going to have to go ahead and pop that Avatar. Twilight Dream coming out as well, but these guys are committed to this fight. Soul Reaper particularly committed in the back there. Selenity turns around and gets that kill, but may end up paying for it here. Health so low. Right now it's a 2-for-1, but Tom getting in deep there will get polymorphed. But the stun coming out, going to lock down Selenity, but it's not enough. Walking away from that fight. Brightwing not so lucky, as they are going to have to back off this situation. And that is going to result in the first bell tower going down here of the game. Going over to USC. They do have those 16 advantages just in time for this 3 altar spawn. And Aiton all alone up in the top here. Got to be careful about this rotation. Nobody rotating to bottom. Kerrigan does look like it's going to start heading there. But this 4-man rotation is here for the side of USC. Going to prioritize going ahead and getting that cast off after that globe is thrown. Vivance casting it on the backside. Should be able to get this fairly easily. And they are going to exchange. Kerrigan actually coming up to this top rather than rotating to the bottom. Could have probably had that rotational advantage. But now both teams going to go ahead and rotate from their respective sides. Gonna respect those lanes as they rotate down. Not gonna try and pick a fight before then. But it does look like we're gonna have a full 5-on-5 team fight. Both teams 16. Nice globe there from Viridian, getting a little bit of damage on the back line to start this off. Selenity getting a ton of energy from those shields. Is gonna be able to start to really chunk this front line. Soul Reaper is getting completely blown up in the mid, but it is going to be a 1-for-1. Brightwing goes down. The Sundering is going to come out, is going to completely isolate a couple members here of USC, and all of a sudden, this match has turned, this team fight turns on its head in favor of Lizard Wizards off of that amazing Sunder coming in along with the Sanctification. So some solid plays out on the bottom right part of that team fight, being able to get the win overall despite all the damage constantly being poured down by Viridian on those globes are getting more and more powerful as we go, as they do with of course with Asmodan. Total late game hero. Top bell tower in a little bit of trouble here. Nothing Jono can't go and clean up. But does look like they're maybe looking for maybe a boss play, maybe looking to bait it a little bit. Does look like they're going to go ahead and back off every single member of Lizard Wizards up at this point. So it's a very dangerous play going for boss. And we do see that globe yet again coming from the top. We do see Lizard Wizards going ahead and picking up that Pumpkin Sapper camp down there. And return rotation here from USC. They're going to try and put some pressure on this top bell tower, which is pretty low at this point. That's not going to take a whole lot more than those Pumpkin Sappers. And a nice Sunder response from Aiton there. Had been rooted, but that Sunder hit all 5 members of USC, and a great follow-up to it as well, as the rotation came in perfect timing from the Lizard Wizards. And that is going to give them pretty much a free boss here. They're going to go straight in for it with only Jaina and Asmodan. Not a whole lot that they can try and do about this. And still plenty of time to be able to rotate down to this bell tower. And the Lizard Wizards coming out here late in this match, making some huge plays. And they are going to start to win this race to 20 as well. With these altars spawning, 3 members still down for USC. Not a whole lot that they can do other than that light poke from Asmodan. We'll get that one globe out to at least be able to interrupt it that one time, but not a whole lot else that he can do, as we do see the Lizard Wizards going ahead and rotating in. Do I play? No, I don't. Whatever that is. Alright, so we do see the bottom lane taken there for the side of the Lizard Wizards. They're going to start this rotation battle. Should be a battle, ultimately, that USC does have an advantage in with Asmodan and that extra push. Not only being able to put positive pressure across the map to be able to slow down the push from the Lizard Wizards, but also with Jaina, solid siege damage coming out from their end. As you can see, we do see the rotation from Lizard Wizards, but in the time that they take down that bell tower and roll in, they're only able to get that front wall. So level 20's out here for the Lizard Wizards. USC not wanting to get too overly aggressive here, just trying to get some defense here on their bell tower and some XP. They're trying to soak their way to 20. Jaina not with them here, so full collapse coming in here from the Lizard Wizards. The question is, do we see the dive? And again, very timid approach here from the side of USC. They do not want to fight before 20. They're going to choose to just go ahead and give up that bell tower so that they can pick up 20, and we got 2 of these altars spawning in the top lane. We will see USC going ahead and being able to take down this bell tower in a timely manner. They've got plenty of opportunities to be able to poke this out. Vala casting on the backside is going to be able to make sure that the Lizard Wizards get at least one of these. However, it still will only be 4 shots, as that was quickly taken. Level 20s are in play here, so this isn't even team fight. Starting off with Emerald Wind to be able to zone out Soul Reaper. Will actually jump over the wall to try and disengage here, but here come the Lizard Wizards pushing in deep into the team. They are going to get Malfurion on that backside, and they're actually going to get Kerrigan, who came back in from the very back of the team. So Lizard Wizards going full ham here, and it is paying off. Solenity up front with those shields doing a ton of damage, getting a ton of value from the extra sustain there of Zarya Brightwing. Plenty of sustain and plenty of shields to be able to go on this 4 days, as they are still trying to stall this out, trying to poke it out, but can't do that forever here. Not going to be able to poke out everybody. Eventually that cast is going to go off. That's going to put USC's core down to 2 points. Still a minute 30 on the boss. Not too much pressure there. And the dunk coming out on Vyvanse is going to interrupt that B. But ultimately, very scary moment here in the match if you are USC. You are down a lot of core points. A huge lead for the Lizard Wizards right now. And they're looking to finish this out sooner rather than later. Maybe get a couple camps, maybe try and push one of these in. Pumpkin Sappers scoring over the line. Just 2 of them would be enough to end this match. Boss up in 55 seconds. So nothing they can do about it right this second. This top bell tower also under siege just a little bit, but here come the rotation. Soul Reaper caught out a little bit here in the middle of the Lizard Wizards. Needs to be careful on that rotation. They're going to go ahead and invade and be able to steal yet another Pumpkin Sapper camp here. So all of a sudden, bottom lane is going to be the focus. If they could push just 2 of these Sappers in, could be the game here. But there is one, and yep, 2 of them are still alive here, but plenty of time for the side of USC to be able to take these down. And Lizard Wizards not going to push the issue here. They went ahead and took that bell tower. Looks like that's all they were really going for there. Smart move, not get too overly aggressive. But this is their bell tower. They can fight under it if they choose to, and it does look like they're going to go ahead and defend it. As the altar spawns here, 30 seconds to be able to try and clean this up for USC, be able to get a positive team fight scenario. This looks like Soul Reaper looking for something. Is going to actually catch Aiton, but got to watch out for that Sunder. Getting ready to go in deep. Look at Aiton going in deep. There's the Sunder, but will actually knock most of the team back into safety. Here comes the Ring of Frost coming out, but it is indeed going to be Kerrigan, the first to fall in terms of is going to go down next, and all of a sudden this is already a 2-for-0 exchange. Solenity very low, but we'll be able to back out of that situation. So not a whole lot there. Jono's just going to be able to go back and cast this. The orb is going to come out to stall once, but that is going to be all the stall that they can get, and that is going to be GG. The bell tower is coming in deep. They're going to be able to get this down, and that is game 1 going over to the Lizard Wizards here on Towers of Doom.
Blue team is victorious.
Lane Kiffin. Don't get me started on that guy. I'm an Oregon fan, so Anyway. Very nice game coming out there from both teams. I felt like USC had some really great moments early, but that Zarya Brightwing combo, along with Tyrael Sanctification, so many shields, and just a little bit too much sustain in a lot of those situations. Very solid game coming out from the side of the Lizard Wizards, particularly in the second half. They fell behind a little bit in the early game. That Kerrigan combo with the roots from Malfurion and the slows from Jaina was enough to get some early picks, but ultimately they came back in a big way, and they won every late team fight. after about level 18. They just started going up on team fights and just won every situation, just pulled away from it in the end. So this second game is going to be Lizard Wizards map pick. So let me go ahead and talk to Vivans here, see what map they want. As we go ahead and get the reporting done there. So many votes for Vivans coming out right now. All the Vivans love. All right. So this is a pretty good situation to be in if you are the Lizard Wizards at this point. They got that first map win when it was indeed the map choice of USC. Now they get to take them home to their favorite map for Game 2 to try and close out the series. We'll see if USC has anything up their sleeve for this next one. Also, Foam Corner and Aluthia, thank you very much for the follow, guys. It's much appreciated. All right, so we are going to Cursed Hollow. Yeah, sadly, I don't play until Thursday, and Lord knows that this Gold 2 scrub does not play in Pro Division. Maybe someday. Maybe someday. Got to win Division 2 first, and then Division 1. Pretty tall order nowadays, actually. Seeing a lot of good, solid play coming out from a lot of these teams here on Chair League. Alright, so we got Cursed Hollow. I'm going to go ahead and get these draftlings rolling. Go ahead and get our draft set up here. There we are. Alright. So the one thing I do like to let everybody know is in these second game drafts, the teams are swapped. So we do see USC will be on the left and Lizard Wizards will be on the right for this draft phase. They'll be swapped back in game for Game 2, but we want to make sure USC can get that first draft pick this time around, making it nice and fair for everyone. Draft links out to these guys, and we are going to be good to go. Or as ETC likes to say, fueled up and good to go. All right. Well, the Lizard Wizards are certainly ready to go, man. That insta lock in. So we'll have to see what these guys have for us Game 2. No bans on Zarya or Malfurion that last game, but it was a good job by Lizard Wizards being able to build a team that did a good job of countering and isolating Malfurion during a lot of those games. It's kind of a precarious game trying to counter the most broken hero in Heroes of the Storm right now, Malfurion. Those heals are real, and the biggest way to counter him is with dive. So that's why a lot of Malfurions are going Twilight Dream right now, to be able to counter that dive potential if your team's good at being able to just respond with that explosion on the other end after that Twilight Dream comes out to silence them for a little bit. It can be pretty rough to play against, but we'll have to see if USC changes things up here. Backs against the wall in this series, down 1-0 to the Lizard Wizards on their home turf here on Cursed Hollow. Lizard Wizards taking them to one of the biggest maps in Heroes of the Storm. Very boss-oriented. These tributes, another solid map for Denial. Good poke comps here. So Zarya is going to be the first ban yet again, ladies and gentlemen. Making sure everybody knows that's not Murky. And in fact, actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and what do you like to drink? I actually don't drink, but thanks for asking. All right, so Murky equals Zarya. That's just Z-A-R-Y-A, right? So we are going to see Alarak will be the ban out from the Lizard Wizards. They are adamant in this series. They do not want to give USC Alarak, instead choosing to give them Malfurion yet again. So this will be the second game in a row USC is going to get the Archdruid Malfurion. But Lizard Wizards did just fine against it last game, so I don't think they're too intimidated. Going instantly with Thrall and Brightwing. I'll tell you, those Sunders coming in hard that last game was a lot of the reason that Malfurion was not able to be very effective. They just collapsed on him in those tight pocket areas. Still a lot of pretty tight pocket areas here for the side or on Cursed Hollow for Thrall to be able to get in there and throw those Sunders to be very, very impactful. But Falstad going to be the pickup here for USC, choosing to go with that global presence, responding to the global presence of Brightwing, which is so good on a big map like this. Falstad also having that boss steal potential, and Sylvanas coming out from USC. So bit of a change up here, choosing to go with the damage-oriented ranged here. Sylvanas also very, very good at sieging, solid at solo laning. And just in general, good mobility for both of those heroes. Malfurion, not so much on the mobility, but those roots, those CCs, more than enough to make up for it. Johanna is going to be the ban out here from Lizard Wizards, which makes sense. Johanna's pretty good on this map for her Denial, being able to get in there and be very annoying on those tribute pickups, being able to just shut those down for days and poke them out. Making it very, very hard for anybody to be able to pick up those tributes. What will be the respawn band here from USC? Right now, they could try to apply a couple different chokeholds, the burst damage, trying to get rid of Li Ming since they already have Falstad. Could try and maybe chokehold that specialist position a little bit. Maybe banning out Zarya. Huh. What if they really pick Murky? Well, no, Zarya will not appear. Heroes Draft does not have Zarya yet. But I imagine if they really wanted to pick Murky, they could just say so in the chat. You know, I think we'd be I'll be excited to see the first time ever Murky played. Not true, Murky gets played sometimes, but not. There's a reason he's the main proxy for Zarya. Vala coming out here from the Lizard Wizards. Solid after the rebuild. I really like Vala quite a lot. We saw some solid Vala play in the last match as well, so no shocker. We see Vala yet again. Tyrael going to be the pickup also for the side of the Lizard Wizards. It worked well last game, so why not this game? The only thing I can really think that is way different is that there's no Zarya. So we're not going to see Salinity being able to throw out those shields, being able to get all that extra damage as we did in that last game. But otherwise, pretty similar comp so far for the Lizard Wizards, and it is going to be the Lost Vikings coming out from USC. That's a lot of beard, by the way. Falstad, Malfurion, Muradin, Vikings. The only one that doesn't really fit in that scenario is Sylvanas, but at least she's got a lot of hair. Man, beards coming out. Vikings, very good on this map to be able to constantly soak while your team kind of pressures and stalls out those tributes, not trying to pick them up so much as just trying to give the Vikings as much time as possible to soak. Also very annoying with Bribe and Merklord on this map, being able to split push with those camps, with Mercenary Lord, can be really devastating. You have to have a really solid answer to it. There are a couple different ways to do that. A lot of people do it with global presence, being able to be very mobile and get around. And there it is, Zagara coming out here from the Lizard Wizards. That global presence with Nidus could be just what the Doctor ordered against Vikings, but also can outpush them in general. And we see the love coming in for the side of USC. A little bit of votes coming out there on the UI. So nice to see some love for both of these teams being expressed here on Share League. Well, somebody likes the couch. That's good to know. I like it too. It's very comfortable. Not gonna lie. I do enjoy it. Alright, so it does look like both teams are ready to go here for Cursed Hollow. Game 2, Lizard Wizards up 1-0 over USC. Let me get that UI changed for you guys so you don't have to keep staring at my ugly mug the whole match while we cast this. Because that would be terrible. We just see on the left, it is going to be the Lizard Wizards. Vivans will be playing Tyrael. Solenity will be playing Zagara. Jono going to be rocking that Vala once again for us. Arthok playing the second match here on Brightwing. And Aiton going to be looking for all those fabulous, wonderful Sunders on Thrall. Looking to follow up a big win on Towers of Doom in that game 1. Meanwhile, on the right, we do have USC. Tom will be playing Muradin. Soul Reaper going to be on Falstad. Viridian going to be playing the Lost Vikings. Apocalypse on Sylvanas. And in terms of, going to be playing Malfurion. Does look like 4-man cheese comp could be going to that bottom lane. Thank goodness for that 1 minute that 1 minute delay. Wouldn't want anybody to get too tipped off on that one. But 3-man rotation to the mid to start this off. The Vikings going to go ahead and split out into their respective lanes. Sort of. Looks like maybe 2 going to the top here. But Solenity is going to be in for a little bit of a surprise as this 4-man rotation comes on in to start to cheese this tower. The rotation is going to come in from the side of the Lizard Wizards. Instantly rotating down here is Arthok from that top lane, and a nice response. Ton of damage coming out on Tom. And Soul Reaper caught out on Falstad. Is going to have to barrel roll out. However, Tom is not going to be so lucky. Is going to get taken down. Very nice response here from the Lizard Wizards, getting first blood, responding to that Sylvanas cheese in that bottom lane. Both teams rotating out here. The Lost Vikings already out in lane, getting some work done. Viridian making this big rotation. Gotta look out there. Aiton gotta get after that little Viking. Actually choosing not to try and follow it up is actually going to go soak the lanes. Maybe not a bad pick, but we do see the jockeying will continue here in the bottom lane. It does look like that's where the pressure is going to be. Interesting choice here from the side of USC, as we do see that the bottom lane is the preferred lane for the Lizard Wizards with that boss in the bottom lane. However, late game steal could result in, of course, the boss being in that bottom. Whereas top lane is actually where their boss is for the side of USC. So interesting lane priority here. Apocalypse extremely low here on Sylvanas. Gonna have to be careful in terms of also starting to run out of mana. Those sustained heals are really good coming in from Malfurion, but we also see oh, Jono, that poison damage from Sylvanas actually gonna be enough to get the pick there behind the wall. A little bit of a greedy heart there. That Shadow Dagger damage was able to spread to Jono and get the poison out to be able to get that over-the-wall kill. And so that is going to even up the kills 1-to-1 here. A little bit of an XP advantage so far for the side of USC. Nothing that Lizard Wizards can't recover from. But we do see that the top lane is going to be where this first tribute spawns. Viridian also doing what he can to try and passively soak here. But Aiden doing a nice job of putting a lot of pressure on this Viking. Getting a cannon down there. And Aiden's actually going to rotate in quickly to try and get this Viridian. Going to go ahead and bring in Olaf to be able to get the interrupt, but it's going to pay for it with Olaf's life to start this off. And Aiden going to start that casting yet again. The rotation coming in from Tom, however, is going to be enough. Soul Reaper flying in as well. Jono is here. Going to kill Eric as well while he's up in that top lane. Might as well. But very aggressive rotation here for the side of Lizard Wizards. Actually zoning out for Salinity. And that wave will not be quite far enough. I felt like that wave definitely hit part of Salinity, if not the middle part. Just not quite enough to get that interrupt. That was so close, though. Meanwhile, we do see USC looking to swap the script a little bit. They do have the one Viking in lane in the bottom. Eric the Swift, actually, it was where they decided to go with that in the bottom there. But the rotation will come down from Salinity to be able to at least clean this up a little bit. Meanwhile, in the top lane, we do see the push coming in from the side of USC, getting very aggressive, trying to get some solid siege damage in here, and doing a nice job. They actually clean up that top lane, and yet again, getting a little bit of an XP advantage as Viridian soaking the other two lanes with the Vikings. So, being able to get some solid lane soak there. Aiden actually going to have to be in that situation. The top push continues, though. Apocalypse, they're doing a nice job of kind of abusing that poison damage, and they weren't able to get that first tribute. The second tribute is going to be spawning in a favorable area here for the side of the Lizard Wizards. However, the rotation is going to come in. They will have this in plenty of time to be able to interrupt it, but Tom, completely isolated, used that Dwarf Toss to get in, has to manually run himself out, and has next to no health in the process. Soul Reaper also getting very far in. Polyed, Vivans going deep to try to get that kill, but Soul Reaper walking away with next to no health. My goodness, and the zoning, very functional there. Second tribute going over to the Lizard Wizards here early on Cursed Hollow. However, we do see that USC is going to have a little bit of a level advantage still. They could end up actually picking up level 10 here. We'll have to see where the spread comes down, or if Lizard Wizards can actually pick up this level 10 in time. Jono actually working on this top cannon tower is going to help if he can get that down in time for this to spawn. Nice damage actually coming out on Eric. Jono trying to get that out. Meanwhile, again, the push coming in from USC in the mid. Tom getting very low in that front line, but nothing that Muradin can't handle from those passive heals and those constant tick heals coming in from, in terms of those Malfurion heals, quite impactful. But we do see level 10 right around the corner, going to be picked up by that Viking in the bottom lane to be able to get level 10 advantage here for USC. And we do see the Lizard Wizards not even rotating to this one. Very, very smart play coming out from them, not worrying about it. Actually getting the pick out there on the bottom lane is Salinity. So a little bit of soak going to actually be lost in this bottom lane. Going to open up the opportunity for them to be able to also siege a little bit here. But the focus will continue to be in the mid lane. Falstad's going to fly down to at least be able to get a little pressure, try and force a little bit of a back off here. But eventually we do actually see the full rotation coming down. But the creep is going to continue. And meanwhile, Eric getting picked off by Jono in that top lane. Oh, the rotation coming in here from USC. Aiden in a lot of trouble. Arthok is going to go ahead and phase shift in. Vivance also here to help out. Emerald Wind going to zone them out nicely. However, we do see Aiden still in a very, very low health. Tom also getting very low here. And in terms of actually selecting out the Tranquility here to be able to get the extra heals and the extra sustain, I really like it, actually, on this map to be able to get that extra sustain for these long fights. And we do see the 4-man, actually, here, trying to zone out for Viridian. I'm going to try and use the Viking to go ahead and pick this one up. However, a lot of zoning coming in from the Zerg, from Solenity, being able to drop those in. And we do see Balog going to be the first to go down in this team fight. Falstad also falling on the back end there. Tom getting very low. It's also going to be a casualty in this situation. And we're also going to see a second Viking Apocalypse trying to Haunting Wave away from Aiden, but inadvertently, or possibly on purpose, who knows, but rotating right into the rest of the team there instead of trying to go over the wall. But we do see that Lizard Wizards picking up a big advantage. This will be the first curse of the game, going over to them, along with a big XP lead, getting some solid kills in there. And they are marching full on into this bottom front wall. Let's see if they can get some pressure in on this keep front wall. A lot of XP stored in these cannon towers on these keeps. But we do see the 4-man response here from the side of the Lizard Wizards, sending the Vikings out to try and help alleviate some of the pressure in the rest of the lanes provided by Solenity in that mid lane, and just all these minions in the top lane at this point. But Solenity doing a nice job of being able to split push, get some pressure in on that mid fort. Is going to take it down here. Soul Reaper going to fly in, at least get the hammering out to get a little bit of damage down. But ultimately, big win there. All 3 forts down. A little bit of damage to that front wall and the bottom keep. But nice pickup there by the Vikings, being able to get back there and being able to get that camp with the Viking bribery. So we do see it is going to be play again for the Vikings. Tranquility coming out for Malfurion, Wailing Arrow for Sylvanas. So there's no big shockers. Devouring Maw actually coming out from Solenity here on Zagara. So that's going to be more team fight oriented, not choosing to go with the split pressure to try and counter the Vikings. Emerald Wind coming out yet again here from Athrock, which makes sense. You know, when you got Tyrael, you got the extra support of his shields, and both teams just choosing to exchange bosses at this point, not wanting to be super aggro against each other here. But the early lane pressure that was put in here from the side of USC is going to start to pay off. However, that first curse did a lot more damage in the long run, and we are going to see that this boss is going to be pushing straight into the keep to go ahead and clean up this front wall. But with those lanes being pushed out, there's no longer a level advantage there. Oh, and Eric going down on the backside, trying to get that camp, but nice spot out there from the side of the Lizard Wizards, being able to deny that and pick it up themselves. Now they've scored themselves a boss and a siege camp pushing in the bottom here. And this keep is gone already, and they might be pushing in for more here. The Maw's going to come out on Malfurion, trapping him inside with that Tranquility, not getting any value. It will allow them to pick off Muradin in that front line. Apocalypse also in a ton of trouble, gets volleyed, and Vivant's going in deep, trying to get that kill. Meanwhile, the core is under siege here, and it does look like Lizard Wizards are going to be able to pick this one up in a brilliant endgame move there, completely ignoring the Vikings on the other end, who do end up getting a keep, but it's not going to be enough. Lizard Wizards scoring big here in Game 2 to win the series on Cursed Hollow. Yeah, I guess they didn't need Nidus. You know, the bottom line is that that fantastic Maw there, even though it just caught Malfurion, it was enough to be able to take down Tom on that front line and really be able to turn that fight. With Vikings spread out everywhere, it was a 5v4 situation, which makes Mawing Malfurion a lot more critical in that situation. All of a sudden, it's a 5v3 for a lot of the duration of that Tranquility. So not a whole lot of PvP. It was more about the curse there. I think the curse was that big turnover, that big moment where Lizard Wizards were able to get a solid push on that bot, and then they just got the boss. It was a nice steal on that siege camp. I really think that was a big play, a big factor in how much sieging they were able to do compared to how much HP they had to give up for it. And then just not a whole lot of response there to that bottom push. USC not dedicating enough resources, not able to quite respond there. And Lizard Wizards just made a big final move to be able to take that one in a clean sweep. So congratulations to these guys. I really appreciate you guys coming out here on the nightcap for us for on the nightcap for the Pro Division. So thank you very much for joining me, guys. If you guys like Chair League, go ahead and hit the follow button. I do cast quite often for Chair League. I also try and throw out those hosts to any of the other casters that are casting. Try and give you guys an idea of when Chair League is going on throughout the week. And we will see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us.